FSF PopCast live show. Hello, kids and cadets. Welcome to the FSF PopCast live show. I am Tim. I am your host, and I am joined by my colleagues, my beautiful co-hosts, Ben and Kathleen.
You got both of us for once. Look at that
go. Yeah. I feel like it's been like
a long time.
Months.
It's been a hot second or three.
It's been 84 years.
I'm trying to be here, I promise.
Hello, John Wass. John flirted with us and made us think that John was coming on this show tonight, and then he decided to be a dad, whatever. So,
how dare he be a responsible parent?
How dare he be a father? So, before we get into any of our real and logical topics.
No! I'm on the wrong show.
We have logic on this show?
No. I said we could have. Well, I did say logical topics.
The
topics are logical. Our responses and comments about them, however, may not necessarily be. But tonight we're going to talk about Ironheart, Superman, and Fantastic Four. Brandon, hey, howdy, hey, welcome. Glad to have you here, bud. I was playing video games and lost track of time. Likely story, John Wass.
I thought you were being a responsible father.
You know what, though? I almost kind of logged in last minute because I got distracted by my book, so I get it. Understood.
And just real quickly, we want to say thank you to all of our show partners and, of course, our viewers like you, because without you, without our show partners, there is no FSF PopCast. So we want to say thank you to Bones Coffee Company, Idea Farm, and Level Up Sabers. There are links for each one of those shows down in the show notes down below. You can get 10% off at Bones Coffee Company by using the code down below. You can use the code for Idea Farm and get 15% off of really cool nerd merch. And then, of course, Level Up Sabers, because you need a lightsaber that's better than a stick. And Master Allen is always running sales. So if you click the link in the show notes down below, go buy a lightsaber and get something cool and help us continue to keep making content. Brandon says, hey, John, what's up? And oh, look at this. Hello, Brandon. And it's definitely been a Monday. I was trying to do that in my best C3PO voice. So,
you know,
I don't know what week it is anymore.
All right, so
time is meaningless.
For those of you who don't know, and you can't see from behind me, I'm a bit of a Funko Pop collector.
No.
Wait. I would never.
I don't believe you.
I know. I too was shocked and appalled at this revelation that was just revealed to me shortly yesterday. Anyway, Funko Pop has a new thing, and they're called Popsies. This is the empty container because I do take these ones out of the container.
What?
And so I already had one of these, and it was from The Office, and it's Jim from The Office. See, and you push the little button, and the little message pops up, and it says,
"That's actually really cute."
Yeah, it says, "I only slack off when times are good," and I've had this one for a hot minute. But yesterday, I was at Satan's Quick Stop, also known as Walmart, and I found this one.
Oh my goodness!
It's Michael Scott.
It is Michael Scott.
You even got
like. And what's Michael Scott's message?
Look, he's even got little backpacks and things in his eyes, and he's got the world's best boss coffee mug. And
what's
then
his
you pop
message?
the button. That's what she said. So yeah, so I went to Walmart, not planning on buying a Funko Pop at all. What about this one? Because
do you ever plan on buying a Funko Pop?
Yes, it's called Comic-Cons.
I thought that was Funko Pops just happened like the cat distribution system.
That is also
just
true.
Appear in the background.
Yeah.
Or your pesky little sister's like, hey, did you see that one?
It is cool. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one, Brandon. There's others. They had some others there, but they weren't from The Office. If there had been, I was hoping to find like a Ryan or an Oscar. I really need to find a Dwight one.
The only thing I got recently is this teeny tiny little button that says, "Sorry, I called you stupid. I assumed you knew."
That
Well,
tracks.
I don't have anything fun to show off. I got a bag.
I have a fun. Ooh,
Is
is it a bag of bees?
It's bees.
Why do you have a bag of bees?
Bees.
Okay, that makes sense.
None of your business.
The only thing I can
Insert
say,
Nicolas Cage. Not the bees.
this is still a family friendly show, is this teeny tiny little button I got last week when my daughter and I were at the mall and we were riding the little animals through the mall, and we drove by a certain store and she said, "Hey, Dad likes that band. We should go buy him a t-shirt."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's go do that." And then I had to take my 6-year-old into Spencer's.
so long as you didn't go to the back of the store.
Well, that was exactly it. So it was the very front was where the t-shirt was that she's like, "Dad liked that band. We should get him one of those t-shirts." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, cool. We'll do that."
Mhm.
And I told her, I'm like, "We are not going any further than the cash register." I'm like, in all reality, I would like you to just stay over there and look at the Invader Zim stuff.
Child, stay right at the door of this store and do not go any further.
She was then standing next to me while I was at the cash register, and I watched her lean to look behind me. And I said, "You are not big enough for this." And she looked and she goes, "Nope." And leaned back the other way. And I'm like,
That's funny. There are so many things in here that Mom doesn't want to have to explain to you later tonight on the way home.
I mean, thankfully the stuff that she saw was like the bachelorette party stuff, not the other corner.
The rest of it. Yeah.
But even the bachelorette party stuff with the
straws,
inflatable mammary glands and hats with yeah.
Yeah, there could have been other issues there. So that you know. Who would win, Zim or Marvin the Martian?
Well,
I'm gonna go Zim.
Zim.
I'm gonna go Marvin because at least his plans like work.
That's true.
Mm.
There's this.
Is that better or worse than the child learning a 12-letter word that she really doesn't need to know yet from one of my a 12-letter word?
That's a big word. What?
It
now
is.
I'm curious, but we might get like.
Is it Mother Trucker?
Uh-huh.
Hey.
Uh-huh.
I did the math. I counted the things.
He was playing Mass Effect.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, that'll get you.
Fair enough.
Not thinking about the fact that the child was on the couch next to him.
Yeah.
But
the real question is, what character
tell me
said
about
it?
Right. He didn't tell me about it until like 3 or 4 hours later. And I'm like,
use
"Oh,
it
okay."
properly in a sentence.
So if she uses that word, I'm like, "Honora, what do we say if you accidentally slip and use that word? It's my dad's fault that I know it."
There you go.
The question is, was it said in the video game or did John say it?
It was said in the video game.
I'm curious what character was the one
cutscene something.
Cutscene something.
Side mission, school thing. I don't know.
Whatever.
The complete sentence, Brandon, would be Mother Trucker, that hurt like a butt cheek on a stick.
So I think though the part that my darling husband is missing.
I don't know about that one.
Ben has never seen that meme. So
my dear darling husband is missing he told me, "Hey, she learned a bad word from my game." I expected the shortened version of that.
She learned bad words?
Until we were telling my mother-in-law about it, that she goes, "Yeah, if I say the M word," and I'm like,
what do you mean?
Like
the M word.
I like that it sounds like she's already planning on a potential of having an opportunity to say this. Because it wasn't like if I say the M word, it's when I say the M word.
She knows she's only going to get one before she gets in serious trouble.
Oh yeah, no, she's got to make sure.
So she's
planning
that.
Yeah,
she's
planning. She's plotting ahead. Oh yeah, she's plotting ahead. She's got that in her sights going. Is this the opportunity that I want?
It's like the one time you get to say it in a PG-13 movie, and they're just hanging on to it.
right?
See, I'm just concerned though, is if she's going to say it in front of like my mom. 7. If she's going to say it in front of like my mom or like my family, or if she's going to say it in front of like my mother-in-law's friends.
I'm hoping for option 2 because knowing some of your mother-in-law's friends, that would be hysterical.
Yep. And especially
I don't know
like,
them actually. I just know what I've been told.
Okay, so like one of the women that my mother-in-law hangs out with on a regular basis is upset when people say that they have to pee.
Which is why I want them to say.
Well, because you need to just
the M word is definitely not monkey, Brandon.
And it's yes, because she wants you to say that you need to use the restroom. Okay, I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm explaining a bodily function.
Your John was called a monkey by your mom?
The other version of the M word.
The mother monkey?
Uh-huh.
Mother monkey.
Mother monkey. Mother of the monkeys. Monkey mother.
I mean, he does have monkey.
I am the monkey. I can go anywhere.
I thought you were the horse.
If we ever have to resort to an OnlyFans, people can know about my husband and his incredibly long monkey toes. But no, they only if they pay for it.
I didn't expect John to be the one to sell the feet pics.
You never know.
Hey, you know, somebody like
there's someone out there for everybody, you know.
Whatever makes bank.
Hey, there's a key for every lock, dude. So, you know.
So yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Patreon, and give our parents one less thing to be embarrassed about.
Only you can prevent OnlyFans.
Oh, that's going on.
Write it down, Tim. Write it down.
If you notice, I'm scanning
someone
for
with
pen.
a T-shirt company.
How do you not have a pen?
I have them. It's more of an issue with paper at this point.
Okay. So if we do that and we make that into a T-shirt, should it be scurvy on the T-shirt?
Yes.
Or Edna? Put Edna with the
it would be Edna because it would be the closest to Smokey the Bear.
But like, she still needs a hat. So if it's the when I had the Stormtrooper helmet, then it didn't all the way fit on my head. And the Stormtrooper
helmet. We could just do the Smokey hat, just but it's a Wookiee.
And no, John, nobody remembers Weevil and Bob because we're not as old as you.
We can use maybe a picture like this, and say, "Oh, you can prevent OnlyFans." That's an unshaven Chewbacca. You cannot unsee an unshaven Chewbacca.
Please put Chewbacca's fur back on.
Should I start painting my toenails? And you might want to pick the hair off the knuckles, but then again, maybe somebody likes that.
You can just shave
no
it.
Capes.
No capes. You can shave the hair off your knuckles. It's not that hard.
Just nair his feet. It'll be fine.
No, because then you potentially get chemical burns.
And then we have a good story of something to talk. I'm thinking content here, Catherine.
We had a purpose for this live today.
I'm sorry. I had bad experiences with Nair, and that was an interesting timing to have that done.
Actually, I know someone else who, my brother-in-law, if he takes off his shirt, he's wearing a sweater. So on his back, we actually nared into his back, "Hi, Mom," and his girlfriend's name at the time, and a few other things, and then he got a chemical burn, so we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, so. I decided to.
There should be a topic, John. There's actually 3 topics.
I decided to use
kind of, yeah.
December of 2014.
Gotcha. Bad timing.
Mm-hmm.
When did you get married again?
December of 2014.
That was my point. Okay. Bad timing.
Yep.
Brandon says, have you guys seen the video of the woman wearing a Chewbacca mask and laughing in her car? Yes. There's also a video. There's also a video of a woman wearing the mask while giving birth. She's in labor.
Yeah. Just laughing hysterically, but also screaming.
Yeah. kudos to that woman for wearing that. She's got a great sense of humor, but there's no way my wife would have even let me get that in the room for any of our 3 children. So
you assume that the mother did not bring it in.
yeah, well, it was said in the labor one that she had lost a bet.
Oh, that
And
I
so
wasn't
she
sure.
had, and so contractually, I think she had to bring it in with her. But contractually, see what I did there? Brunts.
See,
You
Yeah,
didn't do that. Don't even.
I don't think I could have had it touching my face. Like,
There's too many other things happening at that point.
So much sensory overload. The nightmare.
Yeah. So before we actually get into our topics, because we're only 15 minutes in and we haven't even hinted at them. For our first child,
we've missed each other.
I know.
Yeah, we have
like a
not.
Reunion.
We're all in the same text chat. We all talk and whatnot, but this is the first time in months that we have been physically in the same
all on video together.
Space? Yeah, we're all visibly able to see each other for the first time in months.
And we can see faces and things. This is just, it's nice.
We gotta catch up before we get into the actual show.
But for my first son, when he was being born, my wife had a very long labor because she had been in a car accident when she was 18 and it rotated her pelvis. And my son was caught up on her pelvis, and they had to call on a specialist to help get him free. Anyway, long story short, I thought that was a good time to go get a bite to eat and put on the Pistons game because the Detroit Pistons were in the playoffs, the NBA playoffs at that time. I can't tell you how unhappy my wife was with me.
You are such a dumbass.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I was 23 and I'm like, it's no big deal. I'll be over here in the corner. You let me know when you need me, honey. I went and got from this little hole in the wall restaurant in the area where we were living at the time. They had a Irish omelet, which was an omelet filled with corned beef hash, and the outside had like 2 or 3 different types of cheeses on it, and some like drizzle on top of it. I don't remember what the drizzle was. Anyway, I think it was just straight grease. Doesn't matter. Long and short. You know what pregnant women don't like during pregnancy and delivery? Smells. Things that smell weird.
Yep.
And
any kind of extra sensory thing is just too much.
Oh, it was way too much, and I was threatened with all sorts of death.
And had they been letting her eat, how long had she been in labor that then she wasn't going to be eating? So then she's hungry and cranky, and her blood sugar's dropping, and she's in pain. And I reiterate, dumbass.
Yeah. Oh, I was a dumbass. I'm not saying I wasn't. Looking back on it now, I'm like, I was lucky to walk out of that hospital room alive. I tried hiring a band to play for our daughter's birth. Kathleen also shot that idea down fast. Something about not everyone appreciating bagpipes.
So
our daughter wasn't born to bagpipes. It was just a CD.
I don't have kids, so I don't have any kind of story like that. But when my little brother was born, 2 waters broke that night. One was obviously my brother being born, and the other was our boiler exploding in the basement.
Oh no!
So at about 1 a.m, me and my older brother had to go into the basement and open up the back door and bucket brigade throw water out the basement for several hours while my dad drove my mother to the hospital to have my little brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was not a good time. It was very bad. He came out great. He's fine.
I actually just found out over the weekend that a friend that Tim and I actually have in common. I found out that when both of his kids were born, they had to take the oxygen off of his wife to put onto Josh because Josh was going to pass out.
I did not know that, and I love that.
I didn't either. I've known him for 10 years, and I'm just now finding out that apparently you can take Josh down with like a hangnail story.
I did not. I've known Josh for 27, and I had no clue about that. That's fantastic. All right.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like if like, you know, but you're not prepared for the reality. I think that's one of those things of
there's
like,
nothing that happens. Yeah.
This is why one of the superpowers of being ADHD is that stimulants calm you down. So stressful situations where the adrenaline kicks in, I get calm.
Yep.
Isn't it great?
It's so great being level-headed when everyone else is panicking and you're just like, shut up, we're doing this now. We need to fix this. We need to do that. Meanwhile, in the most mundane situation, you're panicking like there's a fire around you.
See, and it's funny, is I'm like that in... Sorry, go ahead.
No, to say a perfect example of that was when Kendall was in the hospital and all the crap was hitting the wall. I was the one who was calm. I was, Captain ADHD over here. I was the one who was calm. I was the one who was able to be level-headed and clear-headed and make decisions. And I would break down afterwards, but in the heat of the moment, I was able to rationalize things and do everything. However, today at work,
the brain cell pinged between me and you, Kathleen.
But
at the same time together, my brain is like, heat of the moment.
But
about that ADHD.
Exactly. But then today at work, I'm stressing over the fact of what color coffee cup do I want because we got new coffee cups at work. And I'm stressing out because I can't make that decision because the only one I knew I didn't want was blue because I already had blue at home, but there was red, black, and green. And
green.
I picked red because the green was not a full green. It was more like a pistachio green. It was
okay, well, it's strong green. I understand that. So the struggle
if it had been like Green Lantern green, done. But it wasn't.
The struggle I have is I have
Green Lantern. No.
And the ADHD brain, yes, like you said, is great in emergencies. Like if somebody is hurt, I am good. I am solid. I've got my medical training. I got this. I can take care of it.
Right.
I will freak out about it later.
Mm-hmm.
The struggle is that when it's me, the autism brain kicks in too, and I completely shut down.
Yeah, because you got two things going in opposite directions.
Like the anxiety spikes, and then the autism brain is just like, oh, hey, we're overloaded. We're just gonna stop now.
Ooh, Beast Boy Green would have been really cool.
Mine does kind of the same thing, but I go into full autopilot, like not full power down, but like, Ben goes to the background and the primal brain that goes, I must survive, goes to the front. And then it just goes, okay, we're doing this. I need to live.
Yeah, I can power through a situation, and then later it'll be like, wait, did I do that? Yes.
Did I do that?
Like, case in point. Went to the emergency room with abdominal pain. Was told, we don't like your blood pressure. It's not great. My blood pressure was like 165 over 110, which, not great. I'm in pain. I'm sitting there with okay, cool, whatever. Everybody around me is being super calm and super nice. And like the nurses are being great and the doctor's being great. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing this because John works here and they know my husband. No, it's because I was dying.
Yeah, there's that. You'll have that on those big jobs. So.
However, I'm not dying. And I don't have cancer.
You don't have cancer. This is very true.
Not dying is a good
very
thing.
Thankful for that.
However,
it's taken us 24 minutes, but we should probably jump into
almost
our topic.
A full 30 minutes before we talked about the things we're talking about.
About anything.
Not even 25, Ben. It's fine.
24 minutes.
I round up everything, okay?
Then you should round up to the 5, not to the 10.
No!
No!
You round up to the 5 if it's at least 2 minutes before the 5. But if it's closer to the 5, you round up to the 10.
No, if it's under 5, you round to 5. If it's over 5, you round to 10.
You tell me that 5 minutes does not feel like 10 seconds sometimes.
Wow.
10 minutes, on the other hand.
However, but then sometimes 10 seconds feels like 5 minutes when you have a 6-year-old asking you, has it been 5 minutes yet?
That is fair. Not my point, though. Anyway, Ironheart.
We have completely jumped the shark tonight, and
tonight?
for right now. I mean, we did that a long time ago, but I'm talking about this particular episode right here, right now. All right. So there's a couple things we wanted to talk about tonight because one of them is a show that is out right now. And then we have two movies coming out later this year that I'm excited about. And I want to have. There was a shark. So John says Ironheart is good television. It's not going to win any Emmys, but it's a fun watch. Exactly. Now, if you've been on the internet for all of 3 seconds and typed in the word Ironheart, you're going to get a lot of racist, sexist, misogynistic comments about the show. Here's the thing, kids. Ironheart was never designed to replace Tony Stark. She's not there to replace Tony Stark and anything else. She is somebody who idolized Tony Stark and wanted to do something like him. And in the first couple episodes, if any of these people who have these negative comments had any sort of media literacy, they would have been able to understand that she says in that show.
Have it.
Well, I know that is the big problem. There is no media literacy. She says in the episode that she doesn't want to be Tony Stark. She wants to be iconic. She wants to do things that help the globe. She wants to turn this into something that can be for EMS, for fire teams, and firefighting and all that type of stuff. She wants to make the suit, but for different reasons. And everybody's saying, there's a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody because that generalizes it to a lot of people who are like, nobody likes this show, nobody's watching it. Then why does it have ratings, and why are people anyway? But here's the thing. One of the things is, and if you haven't watched it, I apologize, but this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's also not a spoiler because the next episode comes out tomorrow night. So if you haven't watched it by now, it is what it is. One of the characters that Riri is up against dies in the episode, and a lot of people are saying, oh, Riri is a bad, she can't be a superhero because she killed somebody in a heinous way. If you go back and you rewatch the scene, she does not kill anybody. Her suit, which is being run by AI, comes in and saves her and takes off. The other gentleman and I use the word gentleman loosely because he is a bad guy, has the opportunity to go out the door, and he waits too long and the door closes in front of him. Locks him into a room that has no oxygen. So he suffocates to death. It is not Riri's fault. Riri did not leave him in there. She did not shut the door on him. She did not hurt him, harm him, do anything along those lines. So to claim that Riri Williams is, a murderer and all these other things is really, you're just showing that A, you have no media literacy, B, you're either a racist or a misogynist, and C, you really didn't watch the episodes.
It also shows that they didn't watch the 3 Iron Man movies.
Tony was no saint.
Obadiah Stane dies. Whiplash dies. Sorry for the spoilers. These movies have been out for almost 20 years at this point.
They've been out for a hot second, so yeah.
That actually hurts to say that they've been out for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's only been 10 and you're rounding up again.
But no, they already had 15. Their 10-year anniversary.
If it was 10, he would have rounded it up to 15. It'd have been fine.
Yes.
Apparently, no, he wouldn't have because 10 died.
I will fight you, Kathleen.
Anyway, you two.
Anyway, this is a very similar situation to it, like Sam as Captain America.
Oh,
they're not trying to replace. They are trying to continue a similar, but not the same legacy. And people had the same thing with Sam. People have the same thing with Riri. I guarantee if there's ever a live action Miles Morales, they'll have the same thing there. They're doing that with Miles Morales anyway. But it's the fact of like...
Right. They're doing it because he's been in video games and that he was in the, he was the center of the Spider-Verse movies and all these things. Oh, you're replacing Peter Parker, and why Spider-Man got to be, black with a Spanish name? I'm like, why do you got to be a jerk? Just watch the movie and enjoy it. Shut up. Here's the thing:
Stanley
as long as the story is based upon somebody who's a person of color, and even more so a woman who's a person of color, we're going to have these comments.
Mm-hmm.
Because God forbid you have a strong, independent black woman with goals, aspirations, and anything else. And the thing is, it doesn't even have to be a person of color. May I introduce to you Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel and all the crap that was thrown at Brie Larson because she was, because her character was a strong, independent woman that could have, in all seriousness, could have beaten Thanos on her own. Did not need anybody else.
Which she does that in the comics so many times, where she just like decks. I mean, she is one-on-one the Hulk. She is one-on-one Thanos. I'm pretty sure she punched Galactus at one point.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Probably had it coming.
It's the fact of, I understand the critiques of, like, if the writing is bad, if the CGI is not good, if, like, the common trope that these movies do, where their bad guy has 500 good points, but then randomly burns down an orphanage.
Yeah. No,
having those kinds of critiques is like, okay, I get that. It makes sense. Those are valid. When you just go bad because person, what are you doing?
Yeah. You're showing a lack of media literacy.
The thing. Your question further back, Tim, on the when people are upset with you, why does he have to be black with a Hispanic name, and why do you have to be such a jerk? The answer to both of those is parenting.
You're probably not wrong. Bad CGI and bad writing. Secret Invasion had those covered in spades. Oh, that was
exactly
awful. I want to go back to this. At first, I thought Pepper was going to be Ironheart.
Well, in the comics, she ends up being Rescue.
Yeah, she's Rescue.
Her own thing.
Her own thing, yeah. Which is in Endgame is the blue. She's in the blue suit. So, yeah. But yeah, I just funny thought. Ant-Man could have shrunk inside Thanos' head and gone large, and Thanos dies. There was also another entrance that they suggested.
They did something like that in Boys.
They actually made a nod to that in there's a ride at Disney where, like, Ant-Man's, it's like an Avengers ride or whatever, and Ant-Man is just like, so when we were going against Thanos, we had a really not great backup plan that I was very hesitant to do, but we didn't have to do it. I'm like, oh.
You know exactly what he's talking about, yeah.
I know exactly what that plan was.
I wonder if that's why they had the person die the way they did in The Boys.
Probably. That was
because it is just not spoofing, but it is spoofing.
Yeah,
it's also a question of durability, which they kind of proved in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where if you go inside and start stabbing something, it is still just as durable on the inside as it is on the outside.
That's true.
So if Scott did do that and got big, Scott would have just been crushed.
So
anyway,
long and short of it here, kids, with Ironheart, if you're interested in a decent story with pretty good writing and some conjecture as to some things that are going to happen in the future of Marvel, then this is a good show to watch. Like John said earlier, it's a good show. It's not going to win any awards, but it's a good show. It's actually pretty solidly written. The pacing for the most part is pretty decent. It does have its moments but I like a little bit of slower pace, especially in the first couple episodes of a series, because I like world building. I like character building. I like feeling like I'm getting to know what's the lay of the land, who, what, how, when, where, why, all that stuff. So if you're okay with that for the first couple episodes, you're going to be fine. The guy who plays the Hood, he has a contract with some supernatural entity who's not very nice, and of course everyone is automatically assuming that it's going to be Mephisto. I don't think it's going to be Mephisto. Things that I've read indicate that
he gets the cloak in the comic.
Right. It could
but
be.
They could just say, no, we're not bringing Satan into this.
Right. Yeah. So I think they could be avoiding Mephisto, but I think it has something to do. Rumors are that that the Hood is going to have some link to the next Ghost Rider. So
that could be cool.
Oh, yeah. So, and Ironheart only has 6 episodes. So we've already got 3 down. And I think the other 3 are being released tomorrow night.
So full disclosure, watch the show. If you want to have an opinion on the show, go watch the show. This is my critique on Marvel as a whole with what they're doing with these shows. Just make a movie. If you're going to give me 6 episodes that have an insane amount of just... I don't like how Marvel is handling all these characters where they're giving them nothing and expecting us to love them. That's my problem. If you give us a fantastic show and it's... what happened to the days where an actual season of an episode of like a show was 12 to 18 episodes? You can build a character in that. You can build a story in that. You can have an actual conclusion in that.
As opposed like Star Wars did with Andor?
Disney has done some good things, but Disney Marvel has seriously been lacking. Give us an actual show that someone can sit down and weekly, because they keep wanting more ratings, they keep wanting more view time. You pump out 12 episodes, 18 episodes of a good show, people will watch it. Look how long The Walking Dead has existed.
That's true.
Yeah.
How many seasons, how many years did The Walking Dead grip society?
And spin-offs.
And spin-offs and things like that. It's like, that's how you do it. Give us multiple little stories that set up a major arc.
Yeah. Kathleen said, so if things are just as durable from the inside as they are from the outside, if Ant-Man climbed up Thanos' nose into his throat, could he decapitate him from the inside?
No, because he's just as durable.
But that's a squishier bit.
Okay, but this is also Thanos, an alien that has superhuman durability. You saw how much effort Iron Man had to put in to get a single scratch on this guy.
That's true.
Scott just going back to normal person size would not do anything. Even if he were to go giant, he would just be more of a mess. If anything, he would kill Thanos by choking him with his own viscera.
Which, I mean...
either way.
We also don't know how Thanos actually breathes.
Well, he's got a nose, so I assume through the nose.
We don't know that.
I assumed.
He could be a mouth breather.
No, he could just like absorb oxygen through the skin or something.
I would love it to see Thanos standing there and be like, "Oh, guys."
Maybe that's why he's so all the time, is because he's trying to breathe through his nose, so he doesn't look like a mouth breather, and he's actually oxygen deprived.
That's funny. John also says the best episodes of DS9 were the random Ferengi episodes that had no real connection to the main series plot.
Exactly.
So, I mean, give me 12 to 18 episodes of a show per season. You throw a couple, a couple of filler episodes in. Absolutely. Make them fun.
Give me a beach episode. That'd be great.
Exactly. Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
Well, that's actually one of the things I really liked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They had like the whole fixing up the boat sequence. Like that entire episode was just Sam working on the boat, hanging out with the community. That was a great episode.
But it gave you an opportunity to get to know Sam better instead of having him being a background character. So
it wasn't just guys, he's the main character. Here you go, enjoy. It's like, no, give us something to actually like.
There was some character build there, which was needed, and this is what's needed with Ironheart as well. It's a good series. 6 episodes is not going to be enough. I'll tell you that much right now. When this is done, I think it's going to come to a screeching halt. I am afraid that it's going to be a lot like Secret Invasion, where I'm going to like it up to a point, and then I'm going to go, yeah, this got bad. So But anyway,
again, not because of the actual character Ironheart, but because Marvel has a tendency of doing bad writing post Endgame.
John also says, because he is our GM of our Star Wars RPG beach episode, taking notes. Should I include an opportunity for Edna to jump a shark? Yes, John. Yes,
Didn't
you
We've
should.
already done that.
Yeah, we've already done that when we were on Kashyyyk, and she was somehow like water skiing for that
do it again.
short
Do it again.
duration.
We did have. Well, that's true. We did have Soggy Dog for like the next 3 episodes, but
Yeah. It was
all right.
before
So
we died.
that's Ironheart. Go watch it on Marvel. Form your own opinion. Don't let these window-licking mouth breathers who hate other things and are only doing this because they are grifting the system because they know that hate sells. Hate gets clicks.
Oh yeah.
Just don't give into it. And I'm looking firmly at Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and
Even Star Wars series getting into it.
Star Wars Theory. Yeah,
The fact
those three are idiots.
This is not anything against the actor. I'm just terrible with people's names. The person who plays Riri.
Yeah.
She was posting online about like, oh yes, people are already review bombing the show, saying how terrible it is the day before it premiered.
Yeah. They did the same thing with Acolyte because God forbid it was going to have women in the lead. So
I don't understand. It's not even out. Well, now it is.
Yeah,
So
actually, he is. He's got a couple different channels now. He's got like a Marvel Theory channel and something else Theory channel, and he's just trying to ruin every
none of them are
fandom
getting
out there.
views, by the way.
None of them are getting views, exactly, which is the happiest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, that's Ironheart. Go watch it for yourself. Make your own opinions. Don't let those window lickers improve or disprove your theories. Next, we have
To a brighter
change of
future.
topic. A brighter future. The Superman. I am very excited for the Superman.
I cannot wait.
I'll be honest with you. I don't care right now one way or another about Corn Sweat as
The fact that his name is Corn Sweat is just so funny to me.
well, he gets to pair up nicely with Butternut Crinkle Fries if they do anything together. That'd be Benedict Cumberbatch.
I knew exactly who you were talking.
Benadryl cucumber snatch.
Exactly.
Whoa, hang on a minute.
Hello.
Oh, we should talk
Anyway.
about Romaine lettuce. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, I want to watch the Boy Scout on the big screen. Me too.
Oh god, I am.
What are you
so
guys most
excited
excited
for
about
this
with
movie.
this?
Nerdy Superman, nerdy Clark Kent.
The fact that he
That's one of them.
feels human.
Yeah.
Like he's Superman, but the amount of times that the comics and the shows and the other movies, the amount of time, one of my favorite lines from Justice League Unlimited, I think it was Lois Lane talking to Clark Kent and talking about Superman, and it comes to a point where she goes, well, yeah, he's only human, and Clark looks at her and she's like, you know what I mean. Like, that's the Superman I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he's bulletproof. Yes, he can fly, has laser vision, all that stuff. I want the humanized Superman.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get in the Snyder cuts. Or
And I
any
mean-
of the Snyder movies.
As much as
But
I
also,
love,
yes, Crypto the Superdog is great.
as much
Yeah,
as I
John and
loved
Brandon
Henry
are excited
Cavill
for
and
this.
loved Henry Cavill as Superman, I am looking forward to the squishier side of Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Cavill was perfect as Superman. He had his faults as Clark Kent, but
Mhm.
that's also not Cavill's fault, in my opinion. That's the
Yeah.
writing and direction he was given. That's how he was designed and made to act out that series. I want to read this. This is from a friend of ours, Kathleen. This is from Lucas.
Okay.
He wrote this to John and I. So, Lucas, if you didn't mean this to be public, my bad.
Too bad.
You can yell at me later.
We'll fix it in
He said-
post.
We'll fix it. Yeah, we won't. This is live. Anyway, he said,
Are we live?
We're live. Yes, absolutely. But he wrote this note to us, and he said, I think what's annoying about fandom nowadays is people are very hypocritical. For example, when The Last Jedi came out, many complained that they stayed too far away from what was written in the past. However, then a movie like Superman comes, and many complain because he's wearing the trunks again, or because Guy Gardner has a bowl cut. But those things are straight from the comics. I really don't think many people can be satisfied these days.
Nope.
That is true. The amount of people that are saying, like, Superman's not funny, Superman is this and that. I'm like, Superman is the guy who told Batman to buy a sense of humor.
Yep.
Yes.
My major critique about the entirety of this movie, my main point that I am furious about, Nathan Fillion has been voicing Hal Jordan in the animated movies for decades now. And you make him Guy Gardner?
But
he's been Hal forever.
But you know what? Reports are he went to James Gunn asking to be Guy Gardner. And
Guy Gardner sucks.
But maybe he wants to give him a better spin, and I'm actually kind of excited for it. I'm actually kind of excited for it because
good Green Lantern on film.
I think in order to get to a good Green Lantern, we're going to ignore the Ryan Reynolds one because Ryan has asked us to.
There's been no Green Lantern movie ever. There's been no adaptation of Green Lantern to film.
Never happened.
What you're talking about?
The animated ones are fantastic.
Those ones are great.
But you got to go through. You got to get rid. You got to put the bad one on screen to appreciate anything that comes out after Guy Gardner. And yeah, Guy Gardner is the worst Lantern, but still. The things that I'm most looking forward to, though, in this movie are geeky Clark Kent, because that's the Superman that I grew up with.
My boy.
Because Christopher Reeve did that just so beautifully.
Oh.
And then secondly, the other thing that I'm really, really looking forward to in this is a Lex Luthor that's believable.
Oh, yeah.
Because now the guy who's playing this, I can't think of his name. His name has escaped me. He's a really good actor, but he was Beast in X-Men First Class, and he's a really good actor. And the bits that I have seen of him, I'm already like, yes, an evil Lex Luthor. That's what we need. Not the Lex Luthor from the Snyder series with Jesse Eisenberg, where it looked like he was trying to do a really bad version of the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's also almost like the two-facedness of Luthor, just being like, I'm just a businessman. What are you talking about? I don't know anything. And then being like, I'm going to kill your dog.
Yeah,
right. Much.
Which, by the way, that scene that they kind of just like threw onto the internet, again, people having a problem with it because they're like, Superman doesn't lose control. Yes, he does. Absolutely, he does. He's lost control so many times.
Superman 2, go back and watch it. He loses all of his control.
Some of the best moments of Superman are losing his mind and almost going too far and then going, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to
gives
throw
into
you
his
into
humanity.
Yeah.
When he gives into the humanity that he's been raised by and everything else happens. Yeah. So those are the things.
I would full-heartedly melt Luthor. If I was Superman, I would have turned him into a puddle if he did anything to my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
I don't care the fact that the dog is just as strong as any other Kryptonian with all of the powers and durability. They took my dog.
Right.
There's no quarter.
No. You pluck one hair off of his Kryptonian little body and I end you.
Oh. No.
That is actually my only concern about seeing the movie is like, I know all of the things. John has told me all of the things, and it's crypto, and it's all of the things that he's tried to say to me to comfort me and tell me that it'll be fine. Touch the dog.
Oh yeah, this is not going to be the kind of movie where the dog dies.
I'm going to lose it.
It's modeled after James Gunn's dog.
He's
so I think
not going to do that.
He's not going to kill off his own dog. John said Superman lives in a cardboard world. It takes so much control for him not to punch through everything. I respect that level of self-discipline.
Oh,
yeah,
that
agreed.
was one of the best scenes in Justice League Unlimited when Superman finally cut loose against Darkseid. Because that's the exact quote, is he said that he feels like the world is made of cardboard. And I'm just like, oh. And he finally cuts loose and just... that's the Superman I want. The one who sits there and is so painfully careful about everything he does. And then he is finally, like, the reins come off. He drops the training weights. And he's like, cool, I get to show you what I can actually do. And just sends you across the galaxy with a single punch.
Yeah, it's good times. All right, so that's Superman, and there's a lot to look forward to that. I forgot to look up the exact date. Kathleen, can you look up the exact release date?
July 11th, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I do believe so. I do have one other
coming up, so
just quickly.
Do it.
There is a guy that I started following on TikTok, and then I follow him on Instagram and Threads as well. His name is Sydney. Sydney Raz. He has done a lot of life hacks in my 30s stuff. He recently found out he has stomach cancer. Like totally, it was a really sad and crazy way of finding out that he had stomach cancer. But he had put up on Threads with the Warner Brothers, James Gunn, these guys. I'm gonna have my stomach removed on July 3rd. Is there a way? Yeah, I'm getting my stomach removed on the 3rd because of stomach cancer. I don't know if I'll be able to sit in the theater to see or to sit through Superman on the 11th. Is there any chance I could see a media screener before the 3rd? And they did it. He got to see it.
I saw that.
Cool.
I am so excited for him. I'm so excited that it actually happened. And then at the same time, I'm like, well, now I want to watch Fanboys again.
Well, because Fanboys is amazing.
Well, it is. But, like, it just... They actually did it. They actually came through, and he saw it, and I'm so excited for him.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I'm really excited about this Superman, because everything we've seen and heard and everything about it just feels like Superman.
Yeah.
And honestly, in this day and age, we need the genuine humanized Superman. We need the big blue Boy Scout in the sky giving some hope to people. And the videos of him, like, all the kids that are on set that are part of the movie, and he's, like, Superman'd up doing all the like, hanging out with the kids. It just... we need more of that.
Yeah, I'll absolutely take it. I love the fact that everything that I've seen about this seems to be coming from a position, a point of not just love and adoration of the character, but wanting to do something heartfelt. James Gunn seems to be approaching it from a very, very in here location, in the chest, in the heart. This isn't just a golly shucks, I get to make a movie. This is, I'm getting an opportunity to pay my respects to one of my biggest heroes, and I think that is kind of awesome. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to. I like the fact that Lois Lane looks kind of like what I feel Lois Lane should look like. I like the fact that Jimmy Olsen looks like what I think Jimmy Olsen
the
should
fact
look
that
like.
Jimmy Olsen looks like they just grabbed him from the comic book and went, here you go.
Right,
that might just be Jimmy Olsen.
Right, it looks like they grabbed him from like a comic book store and was like, hey, you want to do something in the movie?
With the camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, my brother and I were talking about this today. We should see Superman, Fantastic Four, or Elio. Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of good movies.
Those look really good too.
So, yeah, there's some really good movies coming out this year, and in future episodes, we're gonna have to talk about some of these other ones. Originally tonight, we were going to talk as well about Fantastic Four, but we're running desperately out of time. So
we did kind of
one little Fantastic Four thing.
Sure, I'll put my super awesome non-pixelated picture up on the screen.
Thanks.
Pixels there.
320p.
Last night, I put in a Google Calendar for July 26th that just says, John, surprise date. And the address on it is East 42nd Street and Madison Avenue.
That's the Baxter Building.
It is the Baxter Building.
Nice.
It took
Nice.
John...
That I knew that off the top of my head, that I know the address of the Fantastic Four.
It took him 20 minutes to figure it out. Less than 20 minutes. It took him less than 20 minutes to figure out what I was planning for his surprise date, just by the date, the clue in there. It was so funny, though, as I told him, I'm like, my only other option that I was looking at was I was, like, looking through, like, Google locations. There's a bee, like a honey farm in Maryland called Nunya Beeswax. And, like, that was the other option I was going to put into the Google Calendar for the Nunya Beeswax.
Why? It's great. It's funny, but I will say one quick thing about the Fantastic Four, and it's about, again, the annoyance of fans. So the 2015 movie that we only tangentially acknowledge, they did a thing where they made It's Clobberin' Time actually Ben Grimm's, like, brothers saying that he would say before beating up Ben. And that is somehow canonized in people's minds. That they're like, oh yeah, this is just, he's saying this and whatever. No, It's Clobberin' Time is just straight up from the thing.
Well, it's on screen, so it must be real.
I do love that they're making fun of that bit, and they're not going to say it in the commercials.
Mm-hmm.
But they have entire commercials of people just being like, oh, say the thing! Say the thing! And he's like, that's just in the cartoon.
Yeah.
I am very excited for...
Only other thing Pedro Pascal can do no wrong, protect that golden retriever man. The 2015 film, that is the Fantastic Four. That's not the...
We don't talk about that one.
No, seriously, which one is that one?
That was the one where they're not astronauts, they go into like another dimension. That was the last reboot of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that is awful. We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
We acknowledge that it existed merely for the fact of how terrible it was.
Yeah.
Like, even the first two Fantastic Four films were passable. They were good for the time. Like,
I enjoy them. I still enjoy them.
Yeah, they're still watchable movies. Like, they feel like you're rewatching kind of like the same era of like the X-Men and like Daredevil and things like that. For sure. No one said Daredevil was a good movie. But anyway.
Also, apparently you can buy car air fresheners that smell like Pedro Pascal.
You can also buy candles that smell like what's her name? But
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that either.
I mentioned it to my mom.
Never going to be in a Marvel movie again.
I mentioned it to my mom. My mom's like,
okay
I don't want something that smells like a sweaty Latino man. And I looked up the scent of it, and it's like cedar, whiskey, patchouli, sherry. I'm like, Mom, no, that would smell really good, and you would love that. So apparently, Pedro Pascal smells fantastic.
Ben, how does he know you're not wearing pants?
He doesn't need to wear pants. Or are you referring to me not wearing pants? There's a reason it's from, like, the chest up.
Is there a Galactus head popcorn bucket? There should be. If there's not, that'd be really cool.
No, because people are going to do things to the bucket. We all saw what happened with Dune, okay?
Is it because it rhymes with bucket?
Wow.
Listen, there is an entire segment of the internet on just, smash or pass popcorn buckets, okay?
What is it?
It's not a good segment of the internet.
I was going to say, is it Rule 34? Is if it exists, there's an adult version of it?
I found out about this on accident because I was legitimately trying to remember what a popcorn bucket of a movie was.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And this is why you don't go to Reddit and then click on a Tumblr link.
Nope.
That just sounds all kind of
bad.
bad.
It was just pictures of the popcorn buckets, but then the threads underneath were where it was disturbing.
I mean, I got my Darth Vader drink cup, the last at Return of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith.
So we have the Deadpool 2 popcorn bucket, but it's the massive actual basket bucket that's got Deadpool doing the stripper dance on the chair on the outside of it.
Yep.
I
will say
not you, Ben.
more...
You're awesome. I meant Ben Grimm.
Well,
this pen is awesome
he technically
too.
does wear pants. They're just like a size 65 or something like that.
They're rock pants.
I
All right.
really hope two quick things. I really hope they have Ben's tailor in the movie, because I love that character. The fact that he's just there and does all the tailoring for like some of the greatest heroes. He started doing work for Ben Grimm, and then Captain America shows up. He's done work for Spider-Man and things like that. But the other thing, I love the amount of "so here's the thing" bits that have happened because of this movie, and I'm all here for it. That's all.
Very good. All right, so that comes out end of July. So July 11th, we've got Superman. July 26th, we've got Fantastic Four. We're gonna have a nice summer of movies.
This is gonna be a good month.
Yeah. Now, two guys, if you haven't already, if you don't have Apple TV, there's a good reason to go get Apple TV, even if you just get a 3-month trial, however you do it. The show Murderbot is on Apple TV Plus. It's absolutely phenomenal. We've had the pleasure of talking with a couple of stars of the show, Tamara Podemsky and Tatiana Jones. The cool thing about the interview with Tamara is that she has one of the coolest backgrounds of anybody that I think we've ever spoken to. Her grandparents on one side were World War II concentration camp survivors. Like, her grandfather took her to Auschwitz to show her his bunk. Which still kind of hard for me to say. Just the thought of that is just
Yes.
And then on the other side, her other parents are they're First Nations from Canada, and they have survived a whole lot of things in Canada. And she talks about how all those two different cultures have helped her significantly with different things going on in the world, and how that formulates how she chooses to do all these different things. She's also a Krav Maga instructor, which, if you don't know what Krav Maga is, you'll get your butt kicked by it. It's hand-to-hand combat trained by Israeli forces. It's a very particular martial art, and it's wicked. So anyway, she talks about that and how that has influenced what she does and all these different things. And she's been on a lot of really cool shows, but she plays a doctor whose name I can never remember how to pronounce, Bahardia, something along those lines. I apologize because I'm not watching the show. I can't remember how to pronounce it, and it's a lot of letters all crammed together. But she does an amazing job with it, and Tamara is absolutely awesome. That interview is out right now. You can listen to it on your favorite audio podcast provider, and of course, catch it here on YouTube as well. However, if you are one of our Patreon subscribers, which you can be for only $3 a month, you could have already been watching the interview with Tatiana Jones. Tatiana is also a very cool Canadian that we got to talk to. She plays Dr. Arata on the show, on Murderbot, but she's also been in The 100, Lost in Space, The Handmaid's Tale, and a bunch of other things. So really cool stuff. Like I said, $3 a month, you could be watching the interview already. Otherwise, you have to wait till Wednesday morning at 5:30, and then that, of course, will be released on all your favorite audio podcast providers, and of course here on our YouTube channel. However, we do strongly recommend that and hope that if you're going to listen to it on an audio podcast provider, that you will take our advice and go download Good Pods. Good Pods is a great social app for podcasts, and we are always in the top 5. Lately, we've been in the top 3 for comedy fiction. So, and that's due to the strength of our listeners and people paying attention to our show. So we're grateful for that. Not to mention that last week we crossed the 50,000 audio download plateau.
Go us.
So yeah, and this week we crossed 51,000. So we've been chugging right along the last couple weeks, and we just want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening and who's been picking up the show, watching, listening, however you decide to take in the show. We greatly appreciate it. So if you haven't already, please remember to click like and subscribe on this video. It helps us continue to grow, get amazing guests, and there's potential for a couple. I don't want to say who yet, but we've got potential for some other really cool Murderbot guests to be coming on. Not to mention that we have on July 11th, we sit down with Joshua Pruitt, one of the head writers of Phineas and Ferb. He also has a great new book out called Gyro and the Argonauts, the greatest book named after a kid who's named after a sandwich. It's a lot of fun. It's a great book. It's young adult adventure, and I have really been enjoying it. It's based on Greek mythology. It's a hoot. If you like Percy Jackson but want more humor, this is for you. So, but yeah, that's it, kids. We're 6 minutes over. So,
you got
Ben,
6 minutes with us, which is nearly 10.
Exactly, nearly 10.
Look, all right.
Ben
and
and
Kathleen,
Kathleen,
your house just to bop you in the head and then leave.
Can I watch? I want to watch.
I'm once a youngest, always
This
a
would be
youngest.
hard
Youngest.
to
Can't
do.
stop.
I'm just gonna get like an empty paper towel roll and just boop, and that's it. And then I immediately have to get back on the plane.
All right. Well, with all of that being said, thought, and everything else, it's time for us to say our goodbyes. So, yeah. May the force continue to be with you as you live long and prosper. Goodbye.
Copyright 2025 FSF PopCast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF PopCast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.